Sometimes life feels like a series of slammed doors, and sometimes one unexpected moment cracks a window wide open. For Jake Turner, a single dad who could barely keep the lights on, that moment arrived the day a stranger in heels walked into the grocery store where he worked, looking desperate, terrified, and holding a $50,000 cashier's check like it weighed 1,000 pounds. What she said to him next would change both of their lives forever. Before we dive into this emotional story, make sure to subscribe to Truthlines USA, hit that like button, and drop a comment to let us know what kindness means to you. Your support helps us share more stories that lift the heart and light up the world. Jake was 33, and for most of those years he'd believed in doing right by others. He'd been raised that way, in a small town where neighbors asked how your mama was doing and kids shared hand-me-down bikes without keeping score. But after his wife passed away suddenly, the world had turned cold. His daughter, Lily, was 7 years old, full of life and questions he didn't always know how to answer. He worked double shifts at the grocery store, stocking shelves, bagging groceries, and cleaning up spills. Every night he came home exhausted but determined to make a better life for her. Still, bills piled up faster than he could pay them. The hospital debt alone felt like a mountain on his back. He often caught himself wondering, how do people keep going when life keeps hitting? That morning had been one of the tough ones. Lily had asked whether he'd ever find someone who could be her new mom. She didn't say it to guilt him, she said it with the hopeful innocence only a child could have. But Jake's heart had dropped. He could barely afford rent, the idea of love felt distant, unrealistic. He tried to shake the thought as he stocked bananas in the produce aisle. That was when he saw her. A woman in a crisp white blazer, clutching a leather purse, stood at the edge of the aisle looking completely out of place, as if she'd stepped out of a high-rise boardroom and accidentally wandered into a small-town grocery store. Her eyes swept the room nervously, like she was looking for someone she wasn't sure she'd recognize. Jake approached her with the friendly smile his boss insisted on. "Hi there. Need help finding something?" Her head snapped up. She looked at him with such intensity that he instinctively stepped back. "You," she whispered. "You're perfect." Jake blinked. "Ah, for what?" She hesitated, then spoke in a rush. "I know this is going to sound crazy, but I need a husband. Today. Just for a few hours. I'll pay you $50,000. At first, Jake thought she had to be joking. No one just walked around offering that kind of money. But then she pulled out a cashier's check with his name already printed on it. His name. Fear prickled the back of his neck. "How do you know my name?" She swallowed, clearly embarrassed. "I looked you up. I asked the store manager yesterday about trustworthy employees. I may have checked your social media too. But please don't be freaked out. I'm desperate." Jake looked at her, really looked at her. She seemed no older than 30, beautiful but exhausted, and her eyes were red like she'd been crying. She was trembling. He lowered his voice. "Ma'am, I think you should sit down. You're scaring me a little." "My name is Emily Hart," she said. "My father is Charles Hart." The name hit him like a shock wave. Charles Hart, the CEO of Heartfelt Technologies. One of the richest men in the state. "I have a board meeting today," she continued, "and the board has been pressuring me. They don't think I'm stable enough to run the new philanthropic division because I called off my wedding last month. They want to remove me if I walk in alone. My father's old-school investors like family women. So they gave me an ultimatum, show up married, or step down." Jake stared at her. "Why me?" "Because you were the only person the store manager said was kind without expecting anything in return. That's what I need. Someone decent. Someone who won't use me." She pushed the check toward him again. "Please. It's just for today." Jake stepped back. "Lady, I'm a single dad. I'm not trying to get caught up in something that'll ruin my life." Emily's eyes filled with tears. "I promise, it's legal, it's safe, and it's temporary. I just need you to stand beside me and say we're married. After the meeting, we'll annul everything." Jake's mind spun. $50,000. That could pay off half the medical debt. It could fix his car. It could give Lily a real childhood again. But a fake marriage? It sounded insane. Yet something about Emily, her desperation, her honesty, nudged his heart. She wasn't manipulative, she was terrified. Maybe even trapped. And Jake had always believed in helping people who needed help. Against every ounce of logic screaming in his head, he said quietly, "Okay, but my daughter comes with us." Emily's breath caught. Of course. He called his neighbor to watch Lily for an hour and changed into the nicest button-up shirt he owned, though the collar never sat right. Emily drove him in a sleek black SUV that probably cost more than his entire street combined. On the way downtown, she explained everything again, step by step, repeating details like someone terrified of failure. When they arrived at the skyscraper, Jake felt like he'd walked into another universe. The marble lobby gleamed. The elevator walls were polished like mirrors. Emily adjusted his collar gently, her fingers trembling. "You okay?" he asked softly. She nodded, though her eyes said otherwise. "Thank you for doing this. You don't know how much it means." Inside the boardroom, 12 suited men and women stared at them with expressions ranging from shock to disapproval. Emily's father sat at the head of the table, a stern man with eyes that could freeze a river. "Emily," he said slowly. "Who is this?" Emily squeezed Jake's hand. "My husband. Jake Turner." The room erupted with murmurs. Jake stood straighter. He wasn't rich or powerful, but he could at least protect this woman who trusted him. "Pleasure to meet you," he said. The meeting dragged on for an hour. The board grilled Emily on her projects, her vision, her sudden marriage. And every time doubt flickered in her gaze, Jake squeezed her hand. She grew steadier, more confident. At one point, her father asked, "And you, Jake, what do you want out of this?" "Money. Connections." Jake shook his head. "Just want to support my wife. She asked me to be here, so I'm here." Silence filled the room. When the meeting finally ended, Emily was allowed to keep her position. She practically collapsed in relief. Outside the boardroom, she threw her arms around Jake. "You saved me," she whispered. "Thank you." Jake smiled awkwardly. "Don't thank me yet. We still have to undo all this." But Emily didn't let go immediately. "Jake, you didn't act like someone being paid. You acted like someone who cared." He swallowed. "Maybe you deserved someone caring." They drove back to pick up Lily, and when the little girl saw Emily, she ran straight to her, introducing herself with the confidence only a child could have. Emily knelt down, instantly warm, asking about her drawings and toys like she'd known Lily forever. Jake watched, confused by the tug in his chest. When they finally arrived at Jake's small apartment to sign annulment papers, Emily stepped inside quietly, taking in the old furniture and the drawings taped to the fridge. She looked at Jake with a softness he hadn't seen before. "You've been carrying so much," she said. He shrugged. "Life happens." She hesitated, then said, "Jake, I don't want to annul anything today. Not yet. I know this started as a deal, but I want to know you. You're kind. You didn't judge me. And Lily, she's incredible." Jake's heart pounded. "Emily, you're a CEO's daughter. A whole different world." She smiled gently. Kindness matters more than worlds. For the first time in years, Jake felt hope stir inside him. Over the next few weeks, they spent more time together, family dinners, park visits, shared conversations that stretched late into the night. Emily learned what real love looked like, small moments, honest moments, not the fake perfection of high society relationships. And Jake learned something too, that kindness given freely can return in ways you never imagined. 3 months after the day she walked into that grocery store, Emily stood in Jake's living room holding a simple ring, not fancy, not expensive, but chosen with care. "I don't need a fake husband," she said softly. "I need you. The real you. If you'll have me." Jake, with tears in his eyes, whispered, "Yes." And Lily shouted, "We're a family now." In a world that often feels cold and divided, kindness still holds the power to rewrite lives. Jake started with nothing but compassion, and that compassion opened a door he never knew existed. Emily began trapped by expectations, but kindness showed her the courage to choose her own path. And Lily gained a family built not on wealth, but on love. Their story reminds us that kindness